As soon as I woke up this morning, the first thing God told me was, I will stretch you before the shift. And I'm thinking, like, what? Like, how does that even make sense? Sometimes you say, like, oh, I trust God, I trust you, God, just because it sounds right. But God was like, okay. God says, okay, we'll put your trust to the test. We'll see if you really trust me. Really trust me. God has a strategy for your shift. But in order to prepare you, you've got to go through the pain and the pressure. You have to go through the stretching, the struggling. You have to rely on God more than you rely on yourself. Like when the word says to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, which means to trust God even when it doesn't make sense. When you learn how to trust God, sometimes it feels painful. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable because it's almost like that trust fall you used to do as a kid. Or I guess now, like some people, you fall back hoping that the person will catch you. That's how sometimes it feels with God. Like, God, is he gonna make me break my back? Like sometimes you feel like you're about to fall on the floor in pieces, and God says, no, I'm just stretching you. That's all. Some of us don't like to be stretched. We don't like to be pressed, but God says it's for our benefit, for our good. Even some of the best athletes, they stretch. And you got to be, where God is taking you, you got to be spiritually fit, you know? Because in our walk with God, because we walk by faith, you got to be, in order to walk, you got to be in shape. And sometimes to do extra walking, you got to do extra stretching, extra preparing, staying hydrated. Because some of us don't like water. Some of us don't like water. I learned that the hard way. You don't like water? Nope. Do you like water? Nope. It may feel uncomfortable now, but it'll be worth it in the end. You'll see why God took you through what you're going through now. Don't give up. Stick with it. Stretching is uncomfortable, but God is there. It's almost like God is like our athletic trainer. It's like a one-on-one where, if you ever had a personal fitness person, athletic trainer, aka, they'll tell you, we got to strengthen your heart first, because that's your core. And same as with God, he cares about the condition of our heart. That's why it says to guard your heart, because everything flows from it. But your heart has to be healthy. So sometimes in order for your heart to be healthy, you got to go through, my arm is hurting from pulling the camera. Sometimes you have to go through heart surgery in order for your heart to be healthy. And after that, you got to change your lifestyle. So God is working on your heart. Some of us, God is working on your heart. We don't like surgery. We don't like exercise. We don't like stretching. We just like to be good. Just like, Lord, let me be. Like, leave me be. He's like, no, there's work to do. There's places for you to go. It's time for movement. Not stagnation, but movement. So you got to be prepared, We don't like, a lot of times we don't like stretching, but it's for our benefit. So yeah, trust in the Lord with all your heart, even when it doesn't make sense, Because sometimes, like, we feel like we have to understand, like me, I feel like I have to know the bits and the pieces, why, what, when, where, because I like puzzles and I like to figure stuff out. I like investigating. But God says you have to rely on me. That's what faith is. Trusting in God. Even, do you trust God enough to let go? That's the question. It's like, no, I don't want to let go. Well, there's a reason why God told Jacob to let go. Because of his daybreak. When he was wrestling with God. So sometimes, like, when you're wrestling with God, And God says, let go. It's like, no. To wrestle means to be put in painful positions, you know? We don't like to be put in painful positions. It didn't say God was hitting him. He said it was wrestling with him. So some of us are wrestling with God right now, being put in painful positions that we would rather not be in. If it was up to us, we wouldn't go through this. No. We would take the easy way, the shortcut, the express lane. But God says, I have to prepare you. You got to be so that when you get to where God is taking you, you're ready. You know? That's all. Yeah. So that when you get to where God is taking you, you're in your best spiritual shape. Because in order to run this race, this Christian race, you have to be in shape. Not only physically, but spiritually as well. And God cares about your spiritual health. And you should too. For real, you should too. For real. Yeah. So as soon as I woke up this morning, the first thing God told me was, I will stretch you before the shift. And I'm thinking, like, what? How does that even make sense? Like, how does that even make sense? Then I got to thinking, like, God will really stretch you before the shift. Because some of us have been stagnant. Sometimes you say, like, oh, I trust God. I trust you, God. Just because it sounds right. But God was like, okay. God says, okay, we'll put your trust to the test. We'll see if you really trust me. Really trust me. Yeah, God will put your trust to the test. And they be like, wait a minute, God, I didn't know we was going to do this now. This is trust 2.0. This is trust 5.0. I didn't know we would be doing all this. But God says, I'm stretching you to prepare you for what's next. You know, like before you do strenuous exercise, you stretch your body to prepare for exertion, for movement. And so God, same way in your spiritual walk. God has to spiritually prepare us for movement because you think that, oh, you trust God, I trust God, but until your trust is actually put to the test. Yeah. I just want to leave that with y'all.